Alright everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to cover basically every single way you can get more leads to notice your business if you're a contractor. So we're going to be covering basically how to do this for contractors. We've done this to basically local service businesses or even service businesses that are doing business online. We've done a video covering all that, but now this one's going to be more directed for contractors, and all the example and the specificities are going to be detailed for that. So if you're plumber, plumber, HVAC, roofing, electrician, whatever type of contractor business you have, these tricks can apply and most likely will apply to you. If I were to give you an example of what we've done in the past with one of our clients, Elko Roofing, we've got them on average over, a 429% boost in the form leads per month. And if we look at the 7-month analytics for them, I think I have the case study down here. So if we're to look at it here, in total, we went from, 17 leads in the same amount of period of time, so 7 months, to 50 to 87 leads that we were able to collect for them. And in terms of visitors to site, 400 to 1,700, so getting more people to visit that business. In terms of emails and calls, even increase that, and so on and so forth. So in terms of potential revenue, they have a $30,000 AOV. I'm not going to speak of their exact profit margin and so on. In terms of revenue, potential increase of $200,000 in at the minimum in the last 7 months. So now let's actually get into what this actually means and what this all entails. So let's go here. First thing is, I'm going to go here, review sites. So actually, let me just scroll through everything. So you got your review sites, you got search engine results, social media, maps, directories, referrals, outreach, past customers, and some miscellaneous strategies. These are the ways you could get more customers to your service business, as your contractor business. Other ways online, I don't know of. I can't think of any. We haven't described any others. We haven't tried any others. There's none others in terms of online. Now there's, in the miscellaneous strategies, I talk about the real life ways you could do it. So, it's going to be branded business storefront, your vehicle, your work site, conference or networking events, flyers by mail, door, you have your business cards, your yard signs, whatever it may be. But now we're going to be talking about how to do this online. So first things first, we're going to go into basically review sites. So I would say review sites is going to be the same as your maps, same as your directories. Basically, it's every single site online that you could create a profile on. You want to create a profile on that, and you want to optimize it in a way that gets people to contact you. So the thing with optimizing your presence online is that everything kind of has an effect on everything else. So if you get more, if you build a profile on all the review sites. So when I'm talking about that here, I'm saying, Google My Business. We're talking about Yelp, Trustpilot, Better Business Bureau, TripAdvisor, and all the other sites you might have even locally that are review sites. If you create a profile on all that, number one, you might get some visitors to your website from there, because people might be searching for you on Trustpilot, or maybe searching for your service on Trustpilot, and now you might pop up. And then if you pop up and you have some reviews there, you might get someone to contact you. Same thing for all the other sites. But the beauty of it is that now you're getting people from that site, you're getting those leads, but you're also getting a boost in search engine results. In SEO, it's actually an SEO strategy as well. So by having profiles on all of these, Google is recognizing that, okay, your business is connected on this website here. It's connected from this website there. It's connected from this website here. So your business, your website is actually a high value, it's high status. And so we're going to bring it up in terms of search engine rankings. We're going to help you rank higher, because you're getting all this link juice. You're getting all this flowing from all these other sites to your site, giving us the impression that your website is of higher value. So the importance of it is going to be twofold. So actually getting leads from there, but actually the secondary value is going to be getting the ranking boost from it as well. So first, the most important one, this is the reason why we put it first, is Google My Business. If you're a local service business, if you're a contractor, you're probably doing your services locally. Google My Business is probably the strongest asset you have. You have your website, which is very important. It's going to be the foundation of everything else. But your Google My Business is where most people are going to see you. Or if you're not currently getting that, this is where most people will be able to see you. Now, for Google My Business, there's a few things you could do. You could optimize your titles, your descriptions, your images, you get more reviews, and so on and so forth. All these things are great. I would say reviews is the thing that's probably going to affect it the most. So if you go from having 100 reviews to 300 reviews, which by the way, we have a video covering how to get more reviews, how to get better reviews, and so on. So I'm not going to cover this here, but you get more reviews on Google My Business. You do SEO optimizations, which is going to affect your Google My Business. and you get, all these other sites linking to it and so on and so forth, you're going to help rank higher. And if you rank higher, if you rank top 3 for your service in your city, you're getting most of the leads possible in your town, because most people are going to be searching through Google My Business. We worked with even hair salons and stuff like that, and you could tell the amount of visitors they get through the Google My Business, in some cases like 14,000 people a month. So on their website, they're getting, a quarter of that, a third of that, but the actual Google My Business profile is getting most of the clicks, most of the attention. Because when people are searching for something, they either search it on Google or they search on Google Maps. And a lot of people are doing that. They're searching on Google Maps, especially, I would say, if you're a service business where people want directions to. Maybe for a contractor, this isn't going to apply to you as much. But if you're a local service business like a restaurant or stuff like that, people are looking for directions, or they're trying to search you up on Google Maps first. Now, you got different things you could do. You could do Google Posts and all the optimizations there. Again, I'm not going to cover what to do to improve it, but this is just the gist of what's possible. Then you got all the other sites, your Yelp, Trustpilot, Better Business Bureau, TripAdvisor, and all the other sites there. You want to put profiles here. Then after that, you got your SEO strategies. So basically trying to rank your website higher. So what you could do is basically, if I were to do the overview of it, is front-end SEO is going to be what the client sees. So what's the SEO that the client sees? So it's going to be your title tags, your meta descriptions, your URLs. You want to optimize them for people to click on them, and also for Google to rank you higher. Then you have your backend SEO, which is basically communicating directly with Google. So communicating in terms of how I could say is that front-end SEO, you're talking to humans. You're trying to get humans to click on your website. Backend SEO, you're telling Google what your website is about, so it ranks you higher. And then link building SEO is getting other websites to lead to your website. So it's basically, if you could imagine your website as a hub in real life, like a physical location, well, you want all the roads connecting to your website, and that's link building SEO. You're getting more traffic, so you're getting more roads connecting to you. So either Google adds your roads because it values you, it sees with backend SEO and link front-end SEO, it's seeing you as more valuable. It's gonna put you up. Or you're getting roads where you're paying for it, or you're getting people to connect to you with all the link building strategies, like getting review sites, and you're getting more roads to your website. And so everything kind of leads to your website, and then after that leads to them contacting you. So that's why website is probably going to be the most important asset you have. Google My Business is a close second. So depending on where you're at, which stage you're in your business, Google My Business might even be more important. In any case. So that's for Google SEO. Bing SEO is going to be the same thing. It's just that there's some modifications you could do to rank higher on Bing SEO compared to Google SEO. Now, search engine results are basically getting higher on rankings. Now you got your social media. So there's another way to get leads. Basically, you could get them from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and all the other secondary ones. So you could post content on Snapchat, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn. For contractors, I would say the most important ones are going to be your Facebook, your Instagram, potentially TikTok, YouTube I wouldn't say, and I would say LinkedIn, especially if you're doing commercial. So if you're doing commercial, you're dealing with businessmen in that sense. LinkedIn is going to be an important one. For the rest, this is where you could do filler content. So if you have the funds to do it, or you have the energy to do it, you want to properly do content. There's different strategies to do it. You could do educational content, you could do vibe style content, you could do there's different types. If I go to let me see if I can find if I go here, that's it. Okay, so you got some user generated content, testimonial content. I would say in most cases, if you're a service business, you're starting out, testimonial content and maybe some educational content. I would say for most contractors, this is going to be the entry level type of content you could create, or even maybe some user generated ones. So maybe people selfie style explaining the experience they have with you, or maybe showing the results that they've had. So maybe you're showing the results you have, and you show the testimonial of the person. That's going to be your content. If you want to go further, then you do your vibes. You try to get you're trying to hop on trends. You're trying to get people more engaged with it. You're trying to do videos that are aesthetically pleasing. But in most cases, most service businesses want to apply these three first. So you've got your content on all these platforms. If you do it, I would say Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you want to make the effort to do it more proper. But for the rest, you basically want to put filler content. And the reason why you want to do that is that if I'm a service business, if I'm a client and I'm looking for a roofer, so I'm looking roofer Montreal, and I see business A, business B, business C. I go to business A's Instagram and I see they have, the last time they posted something was 25 weeks ago. I see business B, the last time they posted something was yesterday. And I see business C, the last time they posted was 500 weeks ago. Who am I more likely to want to engage with? It's going to be business B because they just posted recently. The thing is, even if their post is less of high quality than the post of the other guy that's 25 weeks ago, the fact that they just posted recently just engages me more with them and makes me think, okay, they're still alive, they're still breathing, like the business is still there. If I contact them, I have a higher likelihood of getting what I want, which is the service that I'm looking for. And so you might get, you might lose to your competition just because you aren't posting on your social media and people are actually landing on it. So I would say what you could do is just put static images, or in case of TikTok, maybe you repurpose videos, you just repost content maybe every week. It could be simple content, it could be a 30-second video, nothing too expensive to do, just to keep the appearance of your business being alive and well. You might get some lead flows from there, it might attract some attention on all these social medias, but in most cases, I would say for most local service businesses, especially if you're smaller, the attention you're gonna get, unless you're doing very extensive strategies, is not going to be worth it for you too much. So you might want to just do this filler type or this appearance type content first, and then maybe delve into it when you have the budget to do the rest. So that's what you have for social media. In terms of getting leads through the maps, this is something people don't consider much, but you got your Google My Business, but you also have all the other maps. And you could create a profile on all these as well. So you could create a profile on Apple Maps, Bing Places for Business, Waze, MapQuest, and the other types of maps that might exist. These are going to be the main ones. I believe Waze, you have to actually be at the location to like pin your business. But in terms of the other ones, you could do it, from your house or whatever, and you just go on the profiles, Apple Maps, create your business listing, create it, add all the information there. Bing Places, you could connect it to your Google My Business, so it's constantly updated. And MapQuest, I believe, is the same thing. So something to consider there. Again, if 95% of people are going to be searching through their Google My Business map to find your business, well, maybe you have 5% of them looking through all the rest. And so your competitors are probably not doing this. If you capture this side of the market, now you're getting some leads that nobody else is getting because you got your maps involved. And these are all free strategies. This is the beauty of this, is that, yes, obviously if you're doing advertising, but advertising is more like a bonus. And it's especially a bonus if you got all the rest of your stuff optimized. So if you got your website optimized and everything, your whole funnel basically is as tight as possible, then you can start bringing in advertising, you start spending cash there, and your funnel is so condensed, it's so properly optimized that you're getting the most bang for your buck, and so your advertising cost is getting really low, and so you can blast out as many ads as you want. So the idea with it is that you have everything so tightly knit, and then this is going to add as just fuel to the fire. So your fire is already started. You've already got enough wood there to last you for a long time, and then this is just going to be extra. And so this is how we see it. This is what we seem to encounter as being the best strategy. So you got your maps, then you got your directories. So again, these are going to be repetitive, but you got your Yelp, Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau. Then you got your other ones, Manta, Angie, Foursquare. If you're in a specific industry, so let's say you're a plumber, you might want to look at the directories for plumbers. So maybe there's directories for them in your region. There might be directories for home services. You might have directories for local services. So you check those out, and you could just basically create a profile on all of those. There's also these sites where you could pay to basically rank on them. So they're rank and rent websites. Basically, you pay for a spot on their website. And let's say if somebody were to search, I'll give you an example, NYC roofer. So let's say if I go see here and I see Yelp. So Yelp is one of those types of sites where you can basically pay Yelp. I'm not sure if it's actually Yelp that you could pay, but in any case, you could probably pay Yelp to be in this top 10 list. And so you pay this directory, which is Yelp, to be promoted in that top 10. And so the person that's searching for a website, searching for a roofer in NYC, they're going to see them as being first. They're going to see Yelp as being second, but now you could be in this top 10 list. You could be maybe rated number 1. So you might get a higher conversion rate. You might get people to your website, which maybe you couldn't get through SEO strategies because the competition is just so strong. So that's the idea there with that. Then you got your local government directories. So maybe in your local market, you got your township, you got your state. Maybe they have different directories for that. So that's going to be dependent there. Then how to get more leads, you could get them through referrals. So this is going to apply to businesses that already have maybe an ecosystem of leads and something like that. But what you could do is you could basically ask everyone for referrals. You could ask your old clients. You could continuously ask new clients. You could ask your community. You could ask your social circle. You could build up an affiliate program so you get a commission for referrals. So that's going to entice people to do it. In terms of online community, you could go on Facebook groups. We're going to talk about that in the we're going to mention that also in the outreach, I believe, section. If I go here, online communities. Anyways, I'm going to cover it after, actually. So you've got all the ways here, asking all clients, continuous clients. These you could do, they're basically free. You take your email, you have your list of, let's say, your 100 past clients, and you go and you write a personalized email, and maybe even a templated email. You send them all and say, hey, look, we're interested in growing our company. We're looking to get more leads. If you're interested in offering us an opportunity to talk to someone who's looking for this service, we'd be more than happy to help. The beauty of it is that if you have your old clients, maybe you could ask them once a year, because that moment there and then, they have no one to refer you to. But maybe next year, their cousins decide to get a roof. They just thought about it. They go, okay, perfect. Yes, I'll refer to you to them. Especially if you have good relationship with your clients, maybe you've kept contact with them or whatever it may be, then you could ask them, and there's a higher likelihood that they're going to actually contact their friend or family to do the service for you. So you could do that. You could ask your new clients as soon as they come in, or maybe as soon as you sold them, or as soon as you deliver the service, say, hey, look, if you know anybody that is interested in this service as well, we offer commission. Maybe you're doing an affiliate program, or maybe you're not. So you say, hey, look, we're interested in getting more people to get this type of service. If you have anybody that you know, please let us know. You can ask your community, so other business owners, government institutions, local networks, online communities. You can ask your social circle, your friends or family, asking online friends. So if you have your Facebook, you can do a post on Facebook. You can ask everybody in your Facebook in private DMs, depending on what's your comfort level in terms of asking. If you're starting out, then maybe you could do free services. Maybe it's a lower ticket service just to get your reviews, get your foot in the door, get to know people, get your reputation built. So that could be something to do. This is something that might be interesting there. And then the affiliate programs. Now, one that might be interesting, that's probably one of the most complex, is going to be partnerships and joint ventures. What you can do is that if you're looking to get more leads, so let's say if you're a roofer and you've got yourself a buddy, or you got somebody in your local area that's doing landscaping work. Well, what you can do is you can have an affiliate commission style or a partnership style, where if I do your roof, or maybe the landscaper might not be a good idea, but let's say you're a landscaper and also you have a window cleaning business, so you're a landscaping company. What you might want to do is you want to partner with this business, so that whenever you go to someone's house, you might say, hey, look, we're going to do your landscaping, so let's say you got this deal. You say, we also have this window cleaning buddy of ours, or this business we'll work with. We could do a bundle price. It's going to be cheaper for you to deal it through us than if you were to do it online in the market. And for us, it makes sense for us because the job site's already prepared, or whatever may be the case may be. So you bundle this with them, you might get some sales there. And so for you, you could refer to them and they could refer to you. You could always set up commissions for that. So if ever it's 10%, 15%, whatever it may be. So if ever you get that deal for them, they give you 10% of the paycheck and you get that, and that's just profit in your pockets. And then same thing, you could just play back and forth with these types of deals. So you could do it with complementary businesses. So if you're landscaping, you could have the window cleaning. So let's say you're doing the work at the same time every month or whatever it may be, you could set up these deals. You could do competitors. So maybe your competitors are overbooked. There's too many people in the market for them, but they're getting all the leads through them. So what you could offer them is say, hey, look, you keep whatever, maybe 10% of the profit. So you're making basically profit without even lifting a finger of work. You give us all the work, we do it for you. We satisfied whatever. Obviously, you're gonna have to communicate with them what they need or whatever. But in any case, I've seen it work for, let's say, roofing companies where your competitor might be doing a slightly different service. So your competitor is doing more shingle roofs, and they don't really want to spend time on the flat roofs because for them it doesn't make sense. Their whole system is not operating for that, and so they don't want to do that. What they can do is that they could refer you those business owners that are looking for those customers that are looking to do their flat roofs, and you could take those deals out. Now they're your competitor. They're somebody you're not trying to, I guess in a sense, be friendly with, but they're giving you leads and you could give them leads when you're getting shingles, and you're both making commission. So everybody's happier because they're doing the service that makes more sense for them and that they could perform best on, and they could do the most results for the less amount of money. So their margins are better. And then everybody's happy because they're actually, there's an interaction with these businesses. So something to do there. Then you got your local business partnership. So maybe if you know that this is going to be more, I would say the example I have is more for tourism, but maybe there's something to apply there for contractors. But if you know that you have a lot of tourists in your area going to this specific restaurant and you're an Airbnb owner, what you can do is that you can have an Airbnb at your Airbnb, you can have a menu, like a list with all the restaurant recommendations. And if they go to that restaurant, they get 10% off their order. And then whenever that the owner knows that, they give you the commission. So you could work out deals with local businesses. Maybe it's something that's not necessarily complementary or not necessarily a competitor, but might be a good add-on on the side for that owner that you might get some leads from. Then you got some other types of partnerships you could build. So bundle offers, I'm not going to cover this. I basically just did there. So that's pretty much it for asking referrals. Now in terms of outreach, for contractors, I would say in most cases outreach is not going to be applicable unless you're doing maybe commercial and you want to outreach to large commercial building owners, or maybe you're trying to get some partnerships and you're trying to outreach through partnerships, or maybe you're sending them messaging to see if they don't have any extra work to be delegated. So that could be an interesting one. But in most cases, I would say cold email, cold DMs, cold calls, cold text, voicemail drops to clients might not be the best strategy. It could work. There's no doubt about that. But most cases, if you're doing a service as a contractor, it's a service that they need when they need it. It's not something you can sell them on the spot. So the example I could give you is that if you're a roofer, the person needs the roof repaired. They don't need it, year 5. They need it year 30. And when it's year 30 and they know the roof is repaired, they're going to search for it. So it's more of a search thing. It's less of I could interrupt you and do it for you. So if you were to offer a service that would be in that type of style, so maybe it's a luxury service or something like that, maybe these could work. And then there's potential for you to set this up. But in most cases, if you're doing a service that's a foundation service, you could say, that's not going to be applicable for you. Except for, I would say, online communities, which is not necessarily a cold DM, so you're not targeting one person, but what you can do is go on Facebook groups, local groups, related interest groups, related business owner groups, and you just post. And you say, hey, look, we do XYZ service. If anybody knows someone who's interested in that, please let us know. So you're basically posting on these groups. You could do LinkedIn groups, school communities, less applicable for contractors, but local governmental online groups. Got some miscellaneous ones, Discord groups, Slack channels, again, less applicable for contractors. In any case, you could just basically send the same messaging on every single one, see if you get any leads. Again, this is going to be free. Maybe you sign up to these profiles, so now it's been a year you're in them, you got a reputation, and you maybe engage with them in there, and now you could ask for those referrals there. So that's it for outreach, a little bit less worth it for service for contractors. Then you could ask your past customers, so you could have your newsletter or your infinity flow. This is something that we're saying before, you could ask for referrals to your past customers, so you could just basically ask them all out. But what you can do is that if you have, let's say you're offering your main service is roofing, but you also offer snow removal for the roofs, you also offer gutter cleaning, you might also offer window cleaning, whatever. You have a bundle of offers. Well, maybe you did service A for this business owner. Well, this business owner could be using gutter cleaning, but they didn't decide to do it when you did the job. They could be using snow removal in the winter, but they didn't decide to do it when they did the job. So what you could do is that you could have a newsletter or an infinity flow, which is basically the same thing, but the newsletter is more going to be news about your business. Then infinity flow is going to be more targeted at sales. So it's more going to be a direct message saying, hey, are you interested in this XYZ service? And the newsletter is more going to be like, hey, just want to update everyone that this year we did XYZ amount of services, blah, 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 blah. What can happen is that if you're sending these emails out and they're automated most of the time, they could just attract those people and just send them emails. They're very, they're very low aggressivity emails. They're very, very tranquil. And you could just get people to contact you for the services that you're offering, the new ones you're offering, the complementary ones you're offering, the ones that are seasonal. So if you have some seasonal services they might be interested in, and you could just contact all your past customers, put them in a list, and then send them out an email maybe every month, reminding them of what you do. And again, this might get you for referrals. So if we're talking about referrals, they might remind them every month, that they can leave you, they can ask you for a referral. Then you got some miscellaneous strategies. So you got some online promotions, you got podcasts, e-commerce stores, and so on. Again, going to apply less for contractors. You got your in real life promotions, like I was saying before, and then you got your in real life advertising. Got all of that there. So this is how you get them for free. So this is basically how to do it in a sense that doesn't cost you any money. Now, if you were to do all these, you've done all the profiles there and you've got all your setup there, and you're still not getting enough leads or you still want to get more, then that's where I believe online advertising might be worth it for you. So then you go for your search engine ads, or Google Maps ads, Bing ads, you got your Facebook ads, you got your directory ads. So you could go on all those sites, like I was saying before, like the Yelp. But if you go on those, that's it here. You could even, I believe you could do ads on Trustpilot, Better Business Bureau, and so on. So you could basically go to all these sites, put a $500 budget, see which one converts the best, and keep that one running. You got all your directories and so on. You got your other social medias. You could do ads on there. And you got even some sponsorships if that makes sense for your business. So Maybe I'm going to do a video in the future if ever you guys are interested in that, and online paid advertising and different variations of that. But this video is going to be covering more the free ones. So that's pretty much it for this video. If I were to show you, just before I end it, the projections calculator, just to show you what type of impact this could have to your business, which is going to make it a lot more tangible in terms of results. So if I go here, and let's say I square these back up to 0. Just like that. Okay. So imagine your business currently has 2,000 visitors a month. So you're getting 2,000 people to visit your website, or at least your online presence. You get an overall conversion rate of 3%. So out of those 2,000, only 3% of them end up contacting you. When they contact you, you have 30% that you actually close. So maybe it's unqualified leads that you don't close. It's the fact that they're not interested in you compared to your competitors. And then the average order value is $30,000. So in this scenario, with the refund rate and so on, monthly revenue is $529,000. Monthly profits $132,000 a month. Obviously, if your business has different statistics, maybe you only have 200 visitors a month. You change it up here, it's divided by 10 and so on. But we're going to keep with the example just because it has a more stronger visual effect. So imagine the profit being 132,000. Now imagine you're going from 2,000 visitors a month and you've optimized your Google My Business, and now you're getting 100 visitors a month more from your Google My Business. What that leads to down the line is going to be an increase of $6,000 a month in profit. This is if these are your stats. Obviously, this is a pretend business. These might not be your stats. And again, if we were to reduce this, by 10, and then, well, this is actually going to be reduced by 10 as well. So you would get, an extra $600 a month in terms of profit. So you see how, you could easily increase all these things, by getting all these profiles set up. It just takes you 10 more people to see your website a month for you to increase on average $600 in profit. So you see how the work involved, in terms of if you were to do all of these by yourself, optimally, it might take you a month to do. If you were to really, really spend the time to do it. If you were to hire out an agency, maybe they could do it in 2 weeks or something like that. In most cases, it's not the end of the world in terms of effort. And the beauty of it is that when you do it once, it's done once, and it's pretty much set for life. It's pretty much set for the next 5 years, I would say. So you don't have to think about these things after. You don't have to spend any money. So in terms of Google Ads, if you were to do advertising, any type of advertising, yes, okay, if you spend X amount of money, you get X amount of result. But it's always a question of, I put this in and I get this back. In terms of these optimizations here, if you get higher rankings, and you've by optimizing all your SEO that one time, those results are going to be there, and then you're going to keep getting there. And not only that, but you're going to get the snowball effect of every single aspect being optimized, improving every other aspect, and having a positive effect on everything else. And so you could just basically compound everything else, and through the future, through the 5 years, let's say if you were to look at this graph, you could see how the red line would be your initial state, and then your green line would be the optimized state. So if you were to do this, let's say, get 100 more visitors a month through your Google My Business because you improved it, you get 100 more from your search engine, you get 50 more from your social media, 50 more from all the directories, let's say 10 more from your review sites, you get 10 people that are referred to you, maybe they don't close, you outreach some people, and you got some past customers coming back. So you go from 2,000 to 2,340, so it's only a 30% increase, so nothing major. But you see how in terms of profit, actually not a 30%, a 17% increase. In terms of profit, it could lead you to a 17% increase in profit if all else stays the same. So if you can imagine it this way, just getting more people, more attention to your website, more attention to your whole profile, your whole online presence, that can lead you into actually cold hard cash. It can lead you to more profits in your business, all else being equal. Usually things tend to change, things to vary, but in most cases, if you increase the amount of visitors you get to your site, you make more money. And now, we've seen, in the examples I could probably give you, if we're looking at search engine optimization results, if I were to give you the examples here. So you see, let's say Paris hair salons, we were able to increase their visitors to site by 142%, Empire Barbershop 101%, we got ClickShip, we were able to increase by 110%, and then we got Elko Roofing, which we were able to increase by 308%. And if this is just the first month that we did the optimizations for them, but if we're to look at the 7-month optimizations, we see 328% visitors to site, so a total of 1,300 people more to their site. So this is 7-month period to another compared 7-month period, 1 year compared. In terms of leads, this is the amount of leads they got. So going from 17 to 50 to around 87, depending on how you see it. And then in terms of revenue, going from on average in those 7-month period from their website, they were getting $102,000 in revenue to $300,000 to $510,000 in revenue. So you see how, improving, tripling basically the amount of visitors you have to your site can lead you in the bottom line to a triple amount of revenue to your business. And you see how exponentially it grows through time, because every single month, every single period of 7 months in this example is going to keep having that effect. So if they would have kept their website as they were, or if they would have kept their optimizations or their profile set up as they were, this is what have been their trajectory, assuming like a 10% improvement in their business in any case. But if they were to do all these things, this is how it happens. And the beauty of it is that you spend the money here, or you spend the effort, the time, the energy to do it here, but the effects have a long-lasting effect in the future. Compared to when you're doing advertising, you spend the money, you get the result. You spend the money, you get the result. So you have to spend more to get more results. In this case, you spent it once, and the ball kind of starts rolling and rolling after that. Obviously, in the future, this is not going to be as steady as this. It's going to have spikes. It's probably going to go down after a while because competitors are going to come in and you have to update your strategy. But in most cases, it's a one-time thing, and you got improvements basically for life. So let's get back into the whole thing here. Okay, so let's get back into the actual projection calculator. So if I were to go here and give this example, all these improvements taken into consideration. Now this is without improving the rest. Now we have videos covering how to improve all the rest of your online presence, or your conversion rates, your close rates, your average order values, and so on. So if you were to increase, your website's conversion rate by 20%, then that has an effect on your business. And you can see how the increases get sharper and sharper through time. So that's pretty much it for this video. Just what I want to show you here, all the free ways basically you can get more leads. If you have any questions, anything you want to let me know in the comments, please let me know. I'm trying to try to answer every single one of them. If you want to download our trainings, we have 12 trainings covering every single aspect of basically what we talked about here. So we have a review training, so how to get more reviews, Google My Business, how to optimize it, SEO, how to get better rankings on SEO. You could download those for free in the description below. If you want to access this whole bundle with all the information here, this is going to be a paid product, so you can access that also below. This is going to include the projections calculator, the advanced checklist. So we have a checklist basically going every single thing you could do in more advanced ways. This is going to be a paid product again, so you could check that out in the description. And if you want to work with Vizions Digital, this is our agency. This is what we do. We help service businesses, local service businesses, grow and scale online. And we're working especially with contractors because this is where we've seen the best results and the highest ROI for our services. So if you're interested in that, please check out the description below, the link for our calendar, or maybe even our website, vizionsdigital.com. And you can check us out and see the types of services we offer. Maybe we get on a call, see if we can help you. We're trying to work especially with businesses that are doing over $1 million a year in revenue, or even over $4 million a year of revenue, just because the impact, as you can see here, we have a larger impact, for a 10% boost in visitors has a 10% increase in terms of revenue for a $4 million a year business. It's going to be $400,000 in revenue. So obviously more impactful, but in any case, we have offers for different levels in the market. So if you're basically starting out, we can help you there. If you're a middle tier business, we can help you there. And if you're a large business that's trying to expand to next levels, we can help you there as well. So basically applying every single trick we've talked about today, as well as all the other ones we have in the other videos. So that's pretty much it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and take you on the next time. See you on the next time. Bye-bye.